cocoa farmer in the West, or cassava farmer, or rice farmer. Farming ought to be recognized as a business. It's something that you can do to become rich. Farmers hitherto have always engaged in farming as an occupation that they have inherited largely. So by providing inputs to them properly, by telling them that it's okay to stop producing cassava and produce lettuce if that is what the market demands, by telling them, oh, if you are producing cocoa, you have to replant new trees. It's not inherited trees. By telling the farmer, the rice farmer, that you need 6 bags of fertilizer rather than 1 bag shared, because that's what you can afford. You can even borrow, invest in it, your yields will multiply, and you'll be able to pay your loans. And by ensuring that the government compensate for the trade distortions that are affecting these farmers, we can move them significantly richer. In the last 8 months in Kebbi, under the Anko Borrowers program, most participants recorded no less than 600, 700,000 naira per cropping session.
At what point can we say that Nigeria has attained food security?
I think it's more about the consciousness rather than the production level, because food security, like I said, involves both ability to produce or afford it, but also it's whether the food offering is healthy choice. If we are consuming food that is causing health issues, and then health budgets multiply, we can't say that we have achieved food security. So it's how to strike a balance, and that balance starts with consciousness that we as Nigerians must appreciate that the primacy of food, the need to do as much we can of it as best possible, using the best practices that will ensure good return and also provide for the healthy living of our people. Then we have achieved food security.
Rural-urban migration compound the problem of food security, urban degeneration, and some will even argue that it fuels insecurity. How can we keep rural dwellers in the rural areas?
By providing what we are doing, the initiative that can provide incomes. I'll give you a story. The Minister of Agriculture, Adobe, and Central Bank Governor were in Kebbi about 6 months ago. And the Minister of Agriculture saw somebody with a campaign singlet of Senator Oluremi Tinubu. And he said, what are you doing with this singlet here? He said, before I was in Lagos under the bridge. And it takes me 6 months before I can save 20,000 to send home. But now, courtesy of the Anko Borrowers program, I've produced wheat, and I'm now producing rice, and I will make no less than 500,000 naira. So by providing rural dwellers, recognizing that it's opportunities, and these opportunities make sense for everyone, by providing financing to them and setting them on course, they are happy to remain where they are, to remain in rural communities and earn the income and lead useful, happy lives. And that's rather than congregating in cities doing nothing and adding to the urban malaise.
Talking of urban malaise and insecurity as well, in Nasarawa State, we had the Ombotse ethnic militia palaver, we've had the Boko Haram, we've had the Niger Delta militants. What do you think, now talking on the national level, what do you think is responsible for the increase in the number of disgruntled and criminal groups in different parts of the country?
I think when there is a disconnect between the social compact between people and begins to break down, mutual suspicion, forehanding of environmental issues, the environmental changes. If the environmental challenge, climatic change is real, it affects how people live with each other. It affects land allocation, land utilization. And if it's not handled with proper understanding, with proper projection, then things begin to break down, and people feel angry at each other rather than finding solution. So we need to recognize that, and I think the realization has been happening that the environmental challenge is impacting upon our security. If people do not have, Ombase can also be related. It's criminal groups coming with very, very extreme thinking cultural groups, and associated with the challenge of environmental challenge, Fulanis passing through the land, failure to understand, to cater for each other.
How did we allow things to degenerate to this level, and what can we be doing to, foster harmonious relationships between these migrants and the farmers?
I think to even recognize the nature of the problem, because the farmer needs a piece of farmland that is stationary. The Fulani man has a way of life which is migratory. He doesn't care about land ownership. He's not interested in being the landowner, but he just went past through. But urbanization, increased population, increased land utilization has threatened that kind of life symbiotic relationship. So we need to recognize that it is happening and help the Fulanis to even be more stationary, even to take them to that level. Maybe 90% of them are uneducated. To tell them that this is not a life form. We love you, we care for you, we want you to stay in one place so that you can get better yield and better value for your cattle, put your children to school, get them educated, and contribute to our protein need by being in one place. That's maybe one possible way of helping them, and everyone can contribute. So states, local communities, especially where the Fulanis are indigenous, can do more in getting them in one place so that they get better value for the and reduce the migratory. But to achieve that is not a thing that can be done in a year. It's a process. And while that is happening, it's for community leaders at all levels to participate so that we reduce the occasional breakdown in